And frustrated travelers here in the U.S. could push Congress to get furloughed air traffic controllers back on the job. Our chief Washington correspondent Peter Cook is on the Hill with the details and with one of the senators at the heart of this debate. Peter?
That's right. I'm joined by Senator John Thune, the Republican from South Dakota, member of the Republican leadership, also member of the Commerce Committee, who is trying to come up with a solution to this FAA furlough nightmare that travelers are facing right now. First of all, thank you for the time. I know you met with not only the head of the Transportation Department, Ray LaHood, also the FAA administrator yesterday. What's the status right now of your efforts to craft a bipartisan compromise here?
Right. Well, where we're at right now, Peter, is we've put together what we think would be a solution to this problem, at least in the near term. And the White House has been looking at it. The Congressional Budget Office has been reviewing it. It pulls on some of the ideas that some of my colleagues, like Senator Collins and Senator Hoeven, have put forward. But it would give the FAA some flexibility to meet the sequester spending reduction target in a different way than using the air traffic controller furloughs to do it. And right now, we've got a terrible disruption going on out there. It's unnecessary. That shouldn't have come to this. There was a much easier and more manageable way of doing this, but we are where we are, so we're trying to come up with something we think could pass Congress in a fairly quick way.
This is more flexibility within the FAA to move the funds that they need to keep those air traffic controllers on the job.
Right, and there are, like I said, other proposals that are out there, but this is one that Senator Rockefeller and I have been working on. I think he's been consulting his leadership, and obviously the White House has been involved in these discussions to make sure it's something that would work, but it would just provide an additional level of flexibility to enable them to find funds elsewhere in their budget to meet the spending reduction target, as opposed to taking out of the air traffic controllers, which is enforcing these furloughs, which is creating all these delays and lots of complications for American travelers.
There have been a lot of accusations about politics on both sides here. Do you think the White House, the administration, crafted this in such a way that there would be more pain for the traveling public?
Sure. I don't think there's any question about it. I think it's pretty clear that they had an agenda here. They wanted people, it's almost like they decided we want people to be, feel the maximum amount of pain so that they'll want the solution that we have, of course, which is a big tax increase. And there was a way to do this. Like I said, it didn't have to come to this. If they had been managed right, they've known this was coming for a year and a half, they could have put the wheels in motion, figured out a way to meet this target in a more responsible way. But we got to where 3 days ago, or I should say it's a week ago now, but it was 3 days before it happened, they announced that they were going to be furloughing air traffic controllers and that we were going to have as many as 6,700 flight delays a day, which affects about 1 in 3 travelers in this country. So real impact on the economy, real impact on the productivity of the American workers, and we need to get this fixed, and hopefully we'll find a way to do that.
We've obviously focused a lot on the delays for specific travelers around the country. What have you heard from the airlines? Have they been reaching out to you, other members of the Commerce Committee, about the impact they're feeling?
Sure, and we heard early on. I mean, this blindsided them. They found out on Friday last week, almost a week ago, that on Monday these delays were going to start taking effect as they implemented these furloughs, and so they were completely in the dark about this, and as were we. Which is really unfortunate, but we heard immediately from them. We check with them on a daily basis now to find out how many flights are impacted, what's actually happening out there, and it's a significant impact on the American traveling public, and it's something that needs to be resolved. And I hope that now that we've gotten the attention of the White House and the DOT and the FAA, we can get that done.
Well, let me just ask you finally, you've got a recess coming up next week. What are the chances right now, as you stand here with me, that there will be a vote in the Senate, something that can clear the House quickly as well and can be on the president's desk, do you think?
Well, I think it depends entirely on how badly people want a solution. If there's a level of cooperation there that allows for it, I think we could get this done fairly quickly. We're running all the traps, trying to work with our colleagues in the House on some language that we think everybody might be able to accept. But as you know, in the Senate, one person can object, and it could shut it down. So no predictions about that yet, except to say that we're working diligently at trying to find a solution and working as quickly as we can to try and get it done, hopefully before this weekend.
All right, Senator Thune, thanks very much. Appreciate you joining us here on Bloomberg with the latest on the FAA delays across the country, Jared, and efforts here in Congress to try and deal with it.
Peter, thank you so much. Our chief Washington correspondent, Peter Cook, with us there from Capitol Hill.